Good afternoon, everybody. It's MicheleMarieDalene, and of course, today is the 19th of August. And I apologize that I did not do the greatest of vlogs yesterday, but I was in a bit of a hurry. But today we're going to focus on a couple different topics that are definitely going to affect a lot more than just one person. Okay, so let's start with the top of the news. The Fukushima nuclear power plant, which is being operated by TEPCO in Japan, is a ticking time bomb. It's they want to safely contain all the waste products, so waste nuclear spent fuel from the waste pool, especially in reactor number 4. The problem is that not only has the computer that normally would do the rod placement and removal failed, it doesn't exist anymore, which certainly is a problem in its own right. You got leaking radioactive water going into the Pacific Ocean, which is, of course, having a long-term impact on sea life, and, of course, an impact on human life as well, especially in the areas of Japan and China and most of Asia. But it's also, of course, affecting California here in the United States. Now, they pointed out that to remove the spent nuclear fuel rods from the waste fuel storage site in reactor bay number 4 is going to become a potentially very dicey situation, because if those nuclear rods break, or if they even get close to another nuclear rod, it could start a thermonuclear chain reaction in open air, releasing potentially as much radiation as 1,500 Hiroshima bombs. Now, I don't need to tell you that as several people from the regulatory committees in Japan and TEPCO itself has pointed out, that the amount of radiation released could kill potentially billions. This is from RT News. Billions, if the worst case scenario happens. Now, they said right now, given the current leakage situation, it's if the they said to the corium, if a corium gets into the water table, that it could result in the evacuation of over 40 million people from Tokyo, Japan. Where would they go? I don't know, but that's what they're saying now. I think the people who created the Georgia Guidestones are probably going to be very happy to see that potentially billions could die. I said billions, not millions, because that's exactly what they say the worst case scenario could be, is billions. Because one of the things the Georgia Guidestones say is to keep the Earth population of less than 950 million people. The other problem is that those 950 million people, of course, are going to be facing a lot of nuclear radiation and sickness and poisoning for years to come, if that's what happens. Not exactly what I call a very positive way of dealing with a problem. In fact, if you study the book called Gateway to Woman's Country by Sherry S. Tepper, we know from that science fiction novel that the situation that happened at her time of her character, Stavia, was that there had been a nuclear exchange, and it had decimated a lot of the cities and things like that. today, we don't know if that's still a possibility, or, you know, if it could be just from things like Fukushima, and even Saint Onofre nuclear power plant, which has been decommissioned. There is concerns about, well, what about other power plants that are built like Fukushima? How many more of them could be potentially disastrous? In 1977, we had to deal with 3 Mile Island here in the United States. That in some ways has a lot more in common with Fukushima than some people were comparing it to Chernobyl. There's a big difference. 3 Mile Island, for example, the containment vessel did stay together. Unlike both Fukushima and Chernobyl. So, that's a problem. Okay? That's a problem. Now, today, of course, we depend on a lot of nuclear energy for a lot of things. It was considered for a long time the cheap way to go. After all, you don't have to change your nuclear rods as often, and you could basically generate electricity. Technically, there's no reason why the nuclear so-called waste, which is still very active, couldn't still be used to generate electricity up until they're totally gone. But there was some reason that the amount of energy that they need. That's the reach should pick. That's it. You just change them out. But so if the situation with Fukushima indicates is that you could call it Hiroshima's revenge, if you will. Unfortunately, it's not really much of revenge. It's beneficial for the island nation of Japan. They're working. Japan has contacted the companies, in fact, that did build the nuclear bombs that were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, for the purpose of learning how to deal with waste, nuclear waste, because TEPCO has pointed out that they are woefully ill-prepared to handle the cleanup of this magnitude. So, therefore, they already pointed out that it could take decades to fix the problem. By the way, there's some other videos on my website, which I've been putting on my Facebook. Finally, although I gotta tell you something, I hate Facebook ever more so from this. I was trying to, Sherry Heaton Love did a videograph of me talking about the 2013-2014 winter coming up. And the problem is that the video, great video, really. 2-minute video, it's not that big. I wanted to put it on YouTube, but Facebook made it a freaking nightmare, because instead of having it just go right to the video link of a FLV or a shockwave file like they do with YouTube, this thing, they had it buried under a whole pile of PHP scripts, which I looked at the scripts and all the embedding, and I couldn't find the file. And I tried several other plugins for TED for Fox under G5, and I couldn't get it to work. So finally, what I had to do was use my iPhone 3GS, download a free app to download videos, which I did download the Facebook video, and then I imported that with iPhoto into my computer, and I just took it from there. Facebook, you're a fucking pain in my fucking ass. You know that? You could have made it a simple process, but you made it so complicated. Facebook, unlike YouTube, is embraced to the flash paradigm. And they are not encouraging people to do the kind of things we do with YouTube every day, like actually downloading a video and then editing it and then put it back up again, or to save the file formats on, say, to your local hard drive. This is okay to do, really, honestly, if it's your file, but if it's somebody else's file and you don't have permission, well, we talked about copyright before under the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, so I'm not going to repeat that. But just to say this, is that Facebook is a pain in my fucking ass. But what can I say about this winter? That's my nose is running. It's gonna kick ass! There, I just said it. Ooh-rah! How come? Because we're gonna have a very low indice of the North Atlantic Oscillation, and the AO, the Arctic Oscillation, is going to be very weak, so it's not going to be holding the cold air into the Canadian Maritime area. Cold air is going to come down, and it's going to, like I was trying to show, problem is I keep forgetting that I have to think about it from your perspective, so let me see if I can rehash that video just a tiny bit. Now, I don't have a map with me, so if you could visualize me, I'm going to try to visualize it for you. For me, that means I have to mentally visualize a mirror image. From the Montana and Minnesota area, you're going to see a cold front. It's going to wedge down. It's going to come down into the northeast of the U.S. It's going to look like this. Right around New Jersey is going to be a dividing mark between the two regions of the East Coast. The two regions up here, such as New York and Connecticut area shoreline, will see blizzard-like conditions. And areas below New Jersey are, for the most part, are going to have a more of a typical seasonal weather for themselves, which is, it's not going to be freezing. I mean, it's not going to be warm either. It's going to be fairly normal snowfall, fairly normal precipitation. However, the problem is in the West Coast. Now, I'm visualizing it so you can imagine, if you will, if I was putting the map here, okay, the West Coast, is the way you see it, okay? Because the one I did yesterday, I did it backwards. I showed the map the opposite way. Okay, so the West Coast, right here on this side, okay, is for the most part is going to be fairly normal precipitation. In the upper area, it might be a little colder. It's not going to be a showstopper. But in the southwest over here, you'll notice that there's not going to be as much precipitation, and it'll be close to normal seasonal temperatures. I'm concerned about this area because I think we need to definitely get more precipitation in the southwest USA to protect the crops. Down here on the southeast and the Midwest, you're doing okay. You're going to have enough rain right now that you can be sure that your crops are going to be fine for this summer. So your winter wheat, should do fine. You guys in the Southwest, which includes California, are going to probably have problems. And I'm sorry about that. The other problem has to do with what they call the ENSO. The ENSO is, El Nino and La Nina. It's just going to be this warm flow. It's going to try to push its way in. That's why this country is going to be bisected by the Canadian high. Is going to push in. It's only going to go so far. Okay? Great for New England. Lousy for everybody else who wants to know. Okay? So I think that it's just, to me, it just looks, for me, because I love winter, this is great. I love the snow, and I love the ice, and I look forward to it. But the point is because of that situation, because of that, some people may not be too happy, and other people might be ecstatic. The ski resorts for New England will do very well, thank you, and as well as upstate New York, and of course, and the ski resorts in Colorado were more than likely, because they'll be on the edge, the periphery, they're going to do fine, so, in the Rocky Mountains. But the ski resorts in such as the Sierra Nevada is probably not as much. You might be able to make artificial snow, but I think that you're going to probably run into a bit of a shortage of water. So that's what worries me with Sierra Nevadas. But you might see some snow, but it may not be as much as you would like. Okay, now, so that's basically what it talked about. And the video is now on YouTube, so you can watch it. Now, second thing I want to talk to you about, speaking of YouTube, is there is a situation with my iPhone's YouTube uploader, which has always really wrangled me, and this is probably one of the reasons why YouTubers haven't really been finding my videos so well. The problem is that the YouTube app on the iPhone 3GS, even with 6.1.3, only allows one-word tags. So if you want to have a multiple word tag, you gotta use things like a dash. So for example, I said 2013-2014-winter-weather-update to make a tag. Yeah, okay, but really it would make more sense to use a quote. So to say 2013-2014, that's fine. Space, winter, space, weather, space, update, closing quote. The problem is the minute it sees the space, the thing tries to just assume it's going to start a new quote. All of a sudden, the tag system crashes, and you're like, SOL. Anyway, so it's sometimes in that case, it's just easier to just edit the tags on the desktop, or using the desktop video manager under. Even on the iPhone 3GS and the website, you can still edit the tags through that and make them a little bit better. It's just the typing on the iPhone, little tiny touchscreen keyboards, a real pain in the ass. So I wouldn't do it on the iPhone unless I really, really thought I did. I, for example, took a look at my my daily vlog from the 18th yesterday. Okay, I had no viewers on it. I took a look at the tag. Of course, the tag didn't say justice. It had the date and then it said vlog. That's it. That's all I could figure out how to put into one word, or two one-word entries in for the tags. So no wonder why I didn't get any vlogs. So what I did was I sat down at the desktop and I edited the tags to finally fill in the mess, the problems that I was having with the tags, to make them better. So now you should, when you go look at my video, you'll see more tags that are described more quietly what the description's about. Now, what I'm thinking about is, for the future, is instead of having the videos as public videos right from the iPhone straight up to Facebook or YouTube, I'm thinking about uploading the files as private, and then I can edit them, add the tags, add a better descriptions, what have you, and then change the tag to public and publish them. Because the other way is just more of a mess than it's worth. Now, but in addition, today we're going to talk about something that's a little more exciting, and of course, a couple things that are not. Because I want to try to get a lot of things in today. The next topic, speaking of videos, is the video studio. As you may or may not know, I am in a work right now trying to save some money so we can upgrade the studio. And one of the things that the studio has is it has a lack of equipment that is up to date. I mean, some of the stuff is basically held together by my duct tape and chewing gum, and we need a better setup. I'm saving money up, and let's say I get $1,000. I said to Lomi, I said, what should I buy with it? And she said, well, it's not so much the camera. That's not where your problem lies. The problem lies with your sound recording ability. You only get one microphone in the whole studio, and that's it. And if that microphone fails, or when you notice when you do interviews with people, it would be better if you had multiple microphone inputs on a mixer, so that you could at least process many microphones, one for each of your guests, and then you could make sure that everybody gets covered well. And in addition to that, we also wanted to consider getting some of the chroma key equipment. But every time I imagine trying to get like $500, $600 money saved, my eyes roll up in the back of my head, because it's like, gee, I mean, it's like such a huge amount of money. And I was like, it's really not, but it just seems huge. So, you start to think, well, what am I supposed to buy? I've done with less for a long time. And then you kind of get frustrated. So let me ask you, the audience, and this is where you come in. Could you help me out here? I need some ideas. So, on the comment section below, I would like you to suggest any kind of equipment that you think that the studio could use. It could be anything. A new set, new lighting, new backdrops, whatever. Anything that you feel that would make the videos better. It's open to anybody. You don't have to worry about me calling your idea stupid. And I'm not moderating it either. So, which means, unless you really suggest something really that's not feasible, or it's not, appropriate, I'm not going to erase your idea. I'm going to look at your idea. And if you have, for example, a link of information about the resources you suggest, please do post the link in the, I don't know if you can actually post full, I did say you could, but I don't know. Some websites can, some websites can't. You may or may not be able to give me a full HTML page of where the link is, but if you could at least give me the name of the product, model number, whatever, or at least kind of fudge me a link, URL, website, I will look at it. Okay, I promise you that. And that's something I will promise you. If you want to send me a private message for the same reason, okay, no problem. You know where to send it to, right? Don't you? I thought you would by now. It's simple. It's Michela2, Bichela3 @gmail.com. And, of course, I will look at your suggestion, and me and Lomi will both try to figure out what to do with it. Now, the last topic I'm going to talk about today is something that we have talked about in the past. And this is not as a very... to some people it's interesting, some people find it downright scary. And that is mental illness. There are people, and this I read about this from The Verge, there are hackers, computer hackers in the community that are trying to understand clinical depression like they understand the computer program that's broken. And so they're trying to crack depression. Unfortunately, these are computer hackers. They are not, neurologists. And so they're trying to look at the problem from a computer problem, like a firmware bug or something like that. Really very fascinating, but unfortunately there's also a lot of misunderstanding about what the causation of depression is. My friends and brothers and sisters, I can assure you one thing, that there's a lot of psychiatrists that can't even understand why depression is caused by. We know it has something to do with the brain and the chemistry, the neurotransmitters. But why? You see what I'm saying? So, is the hacker's approach really necessarily wrong? The answer is no. In fact, I was a computer programmer, and I changed my major to psychology when I went to the University of Connecticut in Stores. And my advisor, Dr. Silvermoon, said to me, he says, it's really interesting that you want to compare the human brain to a central processing unit in a computer. He said, but the human brain, using your paradigm, the firmware for every single individual is unique. There is no two individuals that have the same brain design. And that's what reasons why, as you know from Psychology 132, 133 class, as in the labs, is that it's very hard to prove a certain medication works for everybody. And I said, well, that's true. I said, but, Dr. Solomon, there's got to be a way that we can actually bring the computer-savvy people into this. I know that there are people in the computer field that are sharp as tacks and they can come up with an answer. He said, Michelle, he said, you understand that the brain, yes, it is a computer in the most deluxe sense, but it is not an electronic computer using ones and zeros. It is a computer using electrochemical impulses. And many of those impulses are analog, not digital. And I'm going to suggest to you, all my brothers and sisters out there, is I'd like to prove this guy that we can do it. I'd like to see somebody in our field make a working model of a hypothesis. Yes, you can work with neurologists and psychiatrists, whatever, that's great, that's fine, but that might be a good idea. Let's see if we can finally nip clinical depression in the bud. We're smart. We went to school. I mean, we've been in the computer industry for years. We eat, sleep, and breathe ones and zeros. We know our shit. So why don't we do that? Let's take clinical depression, drag it out in the back, tie up the post, and shoot it dead. We got the technology. Let's do it. Because, we could save people a lot of frustrations, and at least maybe help a lot of people at least understand of why they get clinically depressed. That would be a great thing. Even the mental health people run into this problem. That sometimes the medications that they prescribe for some people work wonderful, and the same medications for somebody else is a total dismal failure. This is our opportunity to take our computer skills and put it to work in other ways. That's something I'd like to see you do. Okay? By the way, this winter, as I said, but the rest of this summer is going to be wrapping up soon, by the way, and soon we'll be entering Mabon in about a month. And I wanted to personally welcome you to please come on down to and support your local businesses in your area. Here in Winston, we have several new businesses. One of them, the newest one, is called Berry Tree. Berry Tree Yogurt is a very new business. The problem is it's only a yogurt place. It doesn't sell any other thing. I don't think that they're going to be open in the winter time for reasons that's very simple. It definitely is geared towards a seasonal operation than for year-round. But we'd like to see more people support it, because this week is going to be very warm. It's going to be about 28, 29 degrees. So this week will be a wonderful time for you to come down to Winston and come down to Berry Tree Yogurt. It's right next to Cumberland Farms, with another business I have been supporting for years. And you can enjoy, it is low-fat yogurt. I asked them, There's 10 flavors of it. Some of them are very wonderfully unique. Some of these, and there's lots of different kinds of toppings. Yeah, 49 cents an ounce may not seem very cheap, but the taste is good, and you know what? It is a local business, and the local business is a backbone of our economy. Okay? Another business right next to it is also fairly new. It's called, it's called Lurie's Flip and Grill. Now, this is a little bit older. It's been around now for, it's been reopened now for about 2 years. And she is a very nice little diner. She's got hamburgers. She's got, good table service. She's decent, okay? She doesn't take, as far as I know, she does not take MasterCard or Visa. But I could be wrong on that, okay? She's definitely worthwhile to go and enjoy a meal if you want something different. On this side of the street, we have Louie's Diner. Now, Louie's Diner was owned by my landlord's son, Louie. He took over the operation from his mom and dad, and of course has made some changes to the business to make it more of his own, including supporting the use of debit cards and credit cards. You can buy and pay for your meals with your debit card and your credit card, so you don't have to carry cash. The food's good, a little expensive, but it's a small business, and it's not like McDonald's or Burger King. They're not going to have some vast volume to get people, a product for cheaper. Okay, same thing with Berry Tree. Wait, all three of these businesses I mentioned are all individual operations. They're not chains. The only one that's a chain is Cumberland Farms, and that's one of the ones I've mentioned so far. McDonald's is a chain. Burger King is gone. We don't have Burger King Winston anymore. But all of these businesses are, as I said, are the backbones of our economy. So we've really got to support them. They mean well. They're a part of our lives. And for that reason, by helping them, by buying their products and services, you're keeping people at work with jobs. Speaking of jobs, another video or news article I copied from Russian television on Facebook. I'm going to tell you right now, folks, I'm getting ready to tell Facebook where to go, and it's not complimentary. Okay, but we'll get to that later on. I already explained that earlier, but they are looking for certain jobs in the marketplace that they can't seem to find anybody to fill them. Okay? Some of the jobs that people are looking for is, what do you call your everyday laborers? Okay? Mechanics, electricians, plumbers. They're skilled laborers, okay? Why? Because lately most of the vocational schools are pretty much gone. The few that do exist are focusing on the computer-related jobs. Other jobs that are very much in demand is engineers. However, the problem is our education school system has not been encouraging classes into STEM. That's science, technician, engineer, and mathematics. Okay, so STEM or lack of STEM is why we are finding that there's a huge market for engineers, and unfortunately our country doesn't have the people. Okay, so does that mean that what does that mean? Well, that means that if you are oriented for science, technically inclined, engineer, and mathematics, and you have skills in those areas, you excel at math and engineering and science and technical courses such as computer programming, computer analysis, computer design, whatever, you can come home and seriously clean up. That is the great thing. There's a lot of jobs for you. Okay? Another area, of course, we already know about this, is healthcare. And I'm not going to rehash healthcare right now, but just to say that there is definitely market for visiting nurses. There is definitely needs for licensed practical nurses. There's also lots of industry for home health aides and many other fields, people in the home health industry. So you could really seriously get work if you really are willing to possibly go back to school and get the certifications and the degrees you need for those fields. There's no reason why you can't. Retail, it's funny because everybody thinks that retail is usually the one thing everybody thinks about. But here's the sad truth. Most of the people in retail it's become kind of a crappy field, but retail is actually a very big field. For example, if you sell products to a business, okay, a business selling to a business, you're going to need to know your product. You're going to need to know your customers' needs, and you're going to know how to make your product a part of their usage line. We're not just talking about running the cash register at Stop and Shop or Kroger or Food for Less. We're talking about being part of a sales force, and there's a lot of market for that. But it's hard hours and the pay is good, but it's very competitive. So if you're looking into that, and if you're tired of collecting welfare, then this is the way to go. Now, that's another topic. Social Security. Is it a welfare program? The answer is yes, it is. It is a welfare program. It is a welfare program of the most extreme type. Disability is a welfare to keep you well, so you fare well. Okay, so that's what it means by welfare. It is not a temporary program. It's not temporary assistance for needy families or TANF. This is a program that's designed to keep people from starving who may not be able to find work. At the same time, the Social Security program needs to also consider changing its rules to encourage those who can do anything at all to go out there and try. Okay, if you can go out there and try to show that you got the skills, there's no reason why you shouldn't do that. Well, I guess that's about it, folks. Got a lot of stuff covered. And, again, I'd like to remind all of you, and I'm going to work on trying to get better tags out. Please do comment on our videos. If there's any suggested topic that you want to just... I don't care what it is. If you want to talk about chamber pots, we'll talk about chamber pots. You want to talk about different grades of human waste? We'll talk about that. If that's really what you think is worthwhile, we'll talk about it. If you want to talk about the different ways of composting, we'll talk about that too. We'll talk about, within reason, anything you bring up. If there's enough people that want the same topic, I really will go into detail on it. So this is your chance. For those of you who are watching these videos outside of YouTube, please do come to the main YouTube page and like and subscribe. It's so easy. My page is a lot easier than Lemmy's to reach because it's direct. No phony baloney, fancy URLs that make you break your teeth. It's easy. It's HTTP. You need that anyway, right? // www.youtube.com /USER/BICHELA4 and just hit enter and check out the videos. Yes, I do have sponsors, and yes, I do have advertising. But I only have one ad at the beginning of the video streams. Okay? I did experiment also with ads in the end, but I realized that was just a little bit more of a pain in the ass than it was worth. Please do, if something interests you, click on the ad. Please do. I get paid for that. How do you think we maintain these websites? It's with your help. And that's one of the reasons we have advertising. Lemmy's page doesn't. She decided that she didn't want nothing to do with advertising at all. Her attitude has always been is, why should I have to have people clicking advertising and then realize that I'm losing video subscribers because of advertising? Lemmy and Finisstraw needs your support too. And speaking of that, what exactly are you going to talk about on your channel tonight? My channel? Yeah. Oh, I never had anything planned today. Because I haven't. No one ever contacted me. I don't even know what they should talk about. So I think that this is where these people need to contact me. Because I mean, I'm not the stuff that I would normally talk about is just so eclectic that I don't think people really are interested. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. Um, but you do plan to get something up soon? Yeah, I hope to. But I also hope that more people start reading our channel. Please, please. Would you like to give the link to the channel so they can find it? I made mine a tiny URL because the YouTube URL is monstrous. It's http www.tinyurl.com/LUMIFINISTRA, and that'll bring you right to my YouTube page. And there, please do subscribe to the channel and check my videos out. Unlike Michelle, I don't have AdSense, so there's no advertising. Okay? So, I mean, I'd love to see your comments, your suggestions. So, please, let's see what you got to say. Oh, everybody, that's a wrap. I wanted to thank you for being here. No problem. And by the way, just like I said with Michelle, please like and share to my videos too. We need you. We both do. So you have a nice day. Bye, everybody.